When it comes to car-making families, the Bugatti is in a whole other league. Bugatti is a French luxury automobile manufacturer and luxury brand for hypersports cars. Besides, it is also well known for its sports cars. These cars are extraordinarily well-performing and gained a reputation as one of the most successful racing car brands in the world. But did you know Bugatti was started by a failed tricycle maker who belonged to an artistic family? So, how did a failed tricycle maker go on to start Bugatti? And how did it become a billion-dollar luxury brand? Let's get into it. But first, a reminder to subscribe if you enjoy remarkable true stories like this. Early life. The story begins from Milan, Italy, where the founder of Bugatti, Ettore Arco Isidoro Bugatti, was born in 1881. His father was a jewelry and furniture designer, and he had 3 kids. Ettore's younger brother also became an artist like his father, and he sculpted animals, but Ettore gave up on art after realizing he lacked his younger brother's talent. His father, like many others, wanted to carry on the family tradition and pursue a career in the arts by studying to be a painter, designer, or cabinet maker. Ettore attended the Boston Fine Arts Academy to study sculpting in order to please his father. After graduating, Ettore joined the Accademia dei Belle Arti di Brea from high school and briefly studied sculpting there. But he quickly came to the conclusion that this wasn't the best course for him. Choose a new path. While studying sculpture, by that time, he had grown interested in engineering, an antiquated form of Pimp My Vehicle. A motor tricycle that a 14-year-old boy called Ettore received as a present was modified, after his father quickly realized his ability and thought he should receive a conventional training. So Ettore, at 17, started an apprenticeship at Preneti, a Milanese company that made tri- and quadratic cycles. Here, he built the Type 1, his first motorized tricycle that was a big failure, but Ettore's artistic studies gave him a unique perspective on the world, and his father always made an effort to support him. Ettore quickly progressed to bigger things after developing the tricycle. Despite the fact that this initial prototype was never made for sale, it attracted a lot of attention, and 2 years later, he was already working on the Bugatti Type 2, his first four-wheeled vehicle. It had a top speed of 10 kilometers an hour, won him many prizes, and attracted the attention of Baron Adrien de Turckheim. Because Ettore was still considered a minor under French law at the time, his father had to sign the employment contract after noticing Ettore's aptitude and offering him a position as a vehicle designer and developer at the Laurent Dietrich Auto Factory in Alsace. Greater and responsible, Ettore created and manufactured Type 3 to Type 7 by 1904, and the cars were known as the Dietrich Bugatti. But even though they sold about 100 units, Dietrich ultimately chose to stop making cars. Together with Emile Mathis, Ettore established their plant close to Strasbourg in search of the next business opportunity. However, Ettore ended the relationship after 2 years and opened a research facility in Ickerfrestenstein. There, he worked with Deutz, a German manufacturer of international combustion engines, another avant-garde European automaker. Together, they created a number of prototypes, and Deutz was so impressed with Ettore's work that they hired him the next year as the director of design. Then, Ettore created Prototype 8 and 9 at this time, but he made sure to prioritize his favorite endeavors: quick, lightweight racing cars. He created high-volume engines for heavy-duty trucks during the day and worked on small cars in his basement at night, where at Type 10, the first independent Bugatti was created in his basement. In 1909, Ettore resigned his contract with Deutz and started his own business, Automatic E Bugatti. At this point, Rembrandt, his sibling, was working well at the Antwerp Zoo, but after the outbreak of World War I, the zoo was forced to close. Then, he committed suicide in 1916 due to depression and failure to sell his art. To honor his late brother Ettore, he created one of his finest achievements, the Bugatti Royale. At this time, it was the longest and most opulent automobile ever seen. A bronze replica of Rembrandt's well-known sculpture of an elephant in a rearing position was added to the exterior. Even though Ettore was devastated by the loss of his brother, this wasn't the worst sorrow he would experience. Building a legacy. 2 daughters and 2 sons were born to Ettore and Barbara, his first wife. Guimberto Jean, Ettore's oldest child, worked closely with his father to create the Type 57 and Bugatti Royale vehicles. Toyota created some of the most amazing automobiles ever during the ensuing decades, and there's no denying that his works of art were what he produced. In 1929, Helen Nair broke record after record at the first ever Women's Grand Prix in Monterey. So Bugatti chose her for publicity, sent her a message asking her to be their driver. She agreed, and later on that year, she returned to Monterey and set a new land speed record for women of almost 190 kilometers per hour while driving a Bugatti 35C. Her fame became international during the following few years. While Bugatti's 35C never finished first in the men's race, it was still the center of attention and frequently stole the spotlight from the actual winners. Helen consistently won the Women's Grand Prix Championship. Of course, this helped Bugatti gain a lot of attention, and it became the most successful of the Bugatti racing models, winning thousands of races in its time. But Ettore inventions went far beyond racing cars, and he had a relentless desire for improvement. In 1927, when he wanted to buy his youngest son Roland a toy car, there was nothing he liked, so he built his own, the now famous Bugatti Type 52. But would this also get him through the Great Depression and World War II? The decline of Bugatti. During World War II, 80 Bugatti rail cars were developed and produced. Those were extremely profitable and saved his company from bankruptcy. However, in 1936, due to rising debt, Ettore moved back to Paris, leaving his son Jean in charge of the Molsheim plant after a nationwide strike caused production to cease. Things appeared to be improving for a while, but tragedy struck once more in 1939. His son Jean died during testing a Type 57, and the tragedy had a significant impact on Ettore. World War II would soon suffer a second setback. The eBugatti factory was taken over by the Nazis as soon as the war started. Ettore continued to develop new vehicles throughout the war years, and he even had plans to start a new factory. But despite his best efforts to revive the business following the war, nothing truly materialized. He remarried his sweetheart Genevieve, with whom he already had a kid in 1942, 2 years after the death of his first wife Barbara in 1944. After the war, his younger son Roland took over the Bugatti company. Although the vehicles he produced were never quite as advanced as those produced by other automakers, the business quickly fell out of business, and despite all of Ettore's efforts, they were never able to turn it around. Ettore eventually passed away in Paris in 1947, and at the time of his passing, he was the owner of about 1,000 patents. A Bugatti comeback. After Ettore's passing, the company declined and was sold. It was now time for someone else to attempt to accomplish what he had. Romano Artioli, an Italian businessman and auto dealer, formed Bugatti Automobile in Campo Galliano in 1987 after purchasing the trademark rights to the Bugatti name. Then, for a cost of $50 million, Volkswagen acquired the Bugatti name in the late 1990s and relocated the business to Molsheim. The CEO of Volkswagen was highly criticized for buying Bugatti to avoid bankruptcy, but then the Bugatti Veyron was unveiled in 2005. It was one of the fastest production automobiles in the world, and a super sports car with a price tag of more than $1 million. After Ferdinand Piech's death in 2019, Volkswagen decided to sell Bugatti to the Croatian EV company Rimac. In the same year, the company created the world's most expensive new car, the Voyager Noir, and it was quickly sold to an unnamed buyer for $18 million. This is the untold story of Bugatti, one of the most successful race cars and luxurious vehicles built by a failed tricycle maker. But because of his self-belief, he made Bugatti a billion-dollar luxury brand. What is your opinion about this inspiring story? And what's your favorite car brand? Please let us know in the comment box. And for more motivational stories like this one, please subscribe to our channel.